Turbo shaft is a really good little tool. I think that it's sometimes a little bit underrated. You can do freehand sculpting with it, so you can do more detail work than you can with some of the larger tools. Together with this depth guide, it's really good to use with templates and guides. So here I'm fitting the turbo shaft, must have the side handle. So thread it all the way to the bottom of the actual shaft. You don't want the bottom nut on there, you want to go right down onto the machined surface of the shaft, and that ensures its accuracy. It's got two little carbide teeth. It's really a reduced version of the Mini Turbo. So the Mini Turbo is a wide blade with two cutters. This is really the same thing, only narrower with the same two cutters. Now, like the Mini Turbo, there's a step here. There's actually a little piece in here where you can see that's the maximum depth that you can go straight down. At that depth, you can move the blade sideways, but if you go below, halfway past this cutter, if you go below that depth, about 5 mil, it will no longer cut on the side. It will now ride on the edge of the shaft. And this is important for the control of the tool and for riding against guides, etc., using templates, that kind of thing, to do accurate work. So if I push this blade straight into the wood, it will only go down so deep, about 1/8 of an inch, it'll come to a stop here, leaving a little lump in the centre. At that depth, it will not go any deeper. To cut deeper than that, you have to move it around so that it removes that lump, and now it will cut down to any depth, or down to the stop if you've got the depth gauge set. So once you have gone beyond about 5 mil, it'll no longer cut on the edges. You can keep going down. So if I want to change this shape here, I can come down from the top. This is a beautiful tool. You can just plunge straight down. Once you've made the hole larger than that, so that you cut away this little section here, you can now go down any depth at all. I want to go down to a depth. All I have to do is set the depth that I actually want. So if I keep going down until I get to this, that'll be the limit of the cut. I should point out that this is a brand new tool, and so the paint is coming off on here. So once you've used it a bit, you'll no longer get the paint marks. Now, there's not a lot to using this tool. It's very, very easy. Once again, I tend to use it on this angle here so that it's pulling away from me. But because it's very narrow, you can really use this blade on almost any angle. The turbo shaft is really great for doing lettering. You can either do it freehand or you can use templates. So here I've just clamped a piece of wood onto my sample here. So I'm just going to run it against the edge here and do a straight line. You can also use the same method with a round template to produce curved letters like an O or an R or a P. An important tip for doing freehand lettering is to start with a single line with the tool leaning over to the right, and so that it's pulling away from you, and then as you go deeper you bring it up vertical. Once you have the line, go in deeper by carving straight down with the tool vertically like this. So you see, if I use it on an angle so that it's always pulling away from me, it's very easy to get a nice accurate freehand carving of the letters. After a while you may get a build-up of resin on the outside, and if that happens you might find it harder to get a nice vertical cut. And if that happens, you just simply take the cutters off and run the machine on a piece of emery cloth. on it like that, without the cutters of course. And then you put the cutters back on and you'll find that it's working beautifully. Also, sometimes resin builds up inside the front of the cutter, preventing you from getting the Torx key in there. So you must clean that out with a pin or something like that so that you get a good purchase so that you can undo the cutters when you want to rotate them.